Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back to Love Island All Stars, and we are now on episode 17. Before we get into this episode, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so you know I'm doing videos, and let's get into this episode, shall we? So where it's kind of left off now, where Maya has told the girls have to be on one side and the boys have to be on the other side. So the girls have to choose a lad to dump and the boys have to choose a girl to dump. But the people who have the deciding vote, because Tom and Molly are in the strongest couple, is basically Molly will have the deciding vote in terms of the boy that they will let go, and Tom will have the deciding vote in terms of the girl that they will let go. I was like, yeah, things just got real. But you kind of could hear the conversations going on and who they were not really hot on. And I know the boys weren't all that hot on Arabella, but it was Toby who did fight for Arabella. Anton tried to fight for Georgia H because he was quite vocal in terms of them not picking Georgia H to go at the end of the day. And for the girls, I think they were trying to decide, I believe, between Chris and somebody else. And I think Kaz was the one that was literally fighting for, I believe, Chris. Hannah was fighting for Anton. And there were a couple of others who were fighting for who they didn't want to let go. So basically, the girls voted for Tyler to go, and the boys voted for Hannah to go. Those were the only options they could really take, to be fair, because Tyler had just let out that, you know, him and Hannah weren't in nothing anymore. And also Hannah had let out to the girls that she told him that they weren't in anything anymore, because, to be fair, the person that Hannah needs, she's not going to find in Love Island. She is not going to find it in Love Island at the end of the day. So that's kind of why I think they made the decision to cut her journey short in regards to that. Kaz was a little bit unhappy and a little bit upset, a bit tearful in terms of seeing Tyler go at the end of the day, and in terms of seeing Hannah go, but more so I think she's still crushed at the fact that Libby just, you know, they just exited. It weren't no kind of fanfare in regards to them being able to go back, pack the bags and then leave. They just had to literally just go. So then Maya turns around and says, like, you know, there's 2 new bombshells coming in. Everybody's looking at Maya as if to say, really, Maya? Really? Right now? Right now? So we know it's Casey and Joanna that comes in. GH has knowledge of Casey, as we see. It sends her off in a motherfucking tizzy. And Tom knows Casey as well. And basically, Tom and Casey seem to be boys at the end of the day, because Tom just grabbed onto him, was like, oh my god, I can't believe you're here, sort of thing. So there was an exit interview where Tyler and Hannah chatted to Maya, and Libby and you see me forgetting the name because he wasn't that relevant, Mitch, chatted to Maya as well. Nothing really to call home about in regards to the chats that they've had, because it's everything that they've been talking about in regards to when they've been in there and the issues that they came up about, to be fair. So you see, when it goes back into the villa, the girls are sitting with Casey and the lads are sitting with Joanna. Straight off the bat, Casey turns to Georgia S and says, how is your love triangle going? You could have heard a motherfucking pin drop with that gem. An absolute pin drop with that gem. And then Georgia S had to catch herself. Molly was already smiling, and all the girls were like, what? So Georgia S had to catch herself, as I said, and said to him, what do you mean? And she says, you know, with you, Tom and Callum. I was like, well, damn. Okay, Casey. Start as you mean to go on, my guy. You know what? You just threw her under that double-decker bus and drove back over her. Ross. So, yeah. So she turned around and Georgia S basically tries to say there's no love triangle about how she's not missing Tom. And I'm like, how can this girl say this shit with such a straight face? How can Georgia S say this shit with such a motherfucking straight face? My girl didn't crack a bean. But all I'm saying is, if Casey came in, it seems as though he was able to watch the episodes going on and seeing the shit that happened between Georgia S and Tom. And he came and was able to say that then, you know what, Georgia S, you full of shit. He saw you, everybody sees you, but Callum don't see you. That should have said something. But Molly pipes up and says, oh, that's a really sore subject. No, let the man speak. Let the man speak. Let him get out there what he saw, because you're going to need to store that knowledge, that information. Yeah, you're going to need to store it. So the lads were talking to Joanna and basically asking, like, in regards to who she likes so far. And she says she ain't putting nothing out there. She just wants to get to know people right now. The same with Casey. He was quite cagey in terms of who he wanted to get to know. But Chris already gone. Chris already home. Headstrong? Is that the word, headstrong? Chris already headstrong. Him already gone for Joanna. Him want Joanna. So then it moves to the conversation that Georgia H is having with Anton. And Anton, basically, within that conversation, after Georgia H did ask him the question, like, who called her name, Anton let her know the deep delve discussions that went go on in between the boys. And I'm like, Anton, even at that point, I knew, Anton, no, don't tell her this, because it doesn't help nothing. Really don't tell her who voted for who, because at the end of the day, the girls ain't telling you who voted for who. But then on the flip side, I did see Toby have a conversation with Kaz and tell Kaz about Anton voting for her, and was really gung-ho in terms of putting her name up for her to go. So for Kaz to be wary of Anton. I was like, oh Lord, will this drama never cease in this place? I do not think so. So basically, Joanna's there talking about like who she would like to get to know first, and she said that she was talking about how the fact that Chris had DM'd her, and she was quite nonplussed about that. But I'm like, he DM'd Demi too at the end of the day. I think Chris kind of makes a habit out of doing this shit, to be fair. So Georgia H knows both of them. She knows Joanna and she knows Casey. And basically Georgia H is coming with the story that Casey and her were trying to get into something, and basically he hurt her because he mugged her off. So he just closed down communication and didn't talk to her after that point. I'm like, I'm sure this is the second or third time that this has happened to Georgia H. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? What is the pattern of this behaviour that we are seeing with these men? Because Georgia H is a nice girl, like an honestly nice girl. But Casey is not seeing it how Georgia H sees it, because he was explaining, I think it was to Josh, about the fact that yes, he knew Georgia H on the outside, and communication was happening, and then it just kind of dwindled, but he needs to have that conversation with her as to what had happened and what had occurred. And I'm like, my guy, Georgia H has already made a 4-page letter in regards to what had happened and occurred between you lot, how she saw it in her mind and how she saw that play out. So then you see Georgia H pull Chris for a chat. How is she? And she basically said that going home was a lot. And she talked about Casey coming in and processing that, and then hearing that the boys were contemplating sending her home. And Chris was like, what the fuck? Who told you that? Like, who told you that? And he says, she goes, well, Anton came up to me. And he was miffed. Chris was proper miffed, because at the end of the day, what was said between them was confidential. It's not like a bro code sort of thing, but it was confidential the same way it was confidential between you and the girls, because at the end of the day, Anton telling you that, what purpose does it serve except to hurt you at the end of the day? So that weren't right. So he ends up calling Anton over and they have a discussion and they literally just piece it out. You see fucking Georgia H sitting there like, what the fuck is going on around me right now? Because Anton's there saying, yeah, maybe yes, I understand what you're saying, but I felt that because I'm with that Georgia H, she's my friend, I really wanted her to know the shit that had gone down. But at the end of the day, who was it benefiting? Who was that information going to benefit? Except to cause an issue, except to cause harm to the person you're telling it to, except to cause probably a mighty stir of motherfucking drama at the end of the day. It just made no sense for Anton to share it. Like, made no sense. So then you see Josh talking to Tom about how he thinks he might be in trouble because he is kind of liking Joanna and wondering, like, you know, if she pulls in for a chat, he will go and have that chat with her. At the end of the day, he's solidly open. He ain't shutting himself down for Sophie, although Sophie has shut herself down for him in regards to deciding not to chat to Chris. So I told you, Josh ain't nothing. These men ain't nothing. Some of these girls ain't nothing. Georgia S definitely ain't nothing. But here you go. This is the game that these people play. Under the guise of being open, they do a lot of fuck shit. Like an absolute lot of fuck shit. So then you see it go to them getting ready for bed and getting in bed, and you know, everybody's having a little kiss and a cuddle. Why are we sitting humpback city with Josh and Sophie? Like, he literally got up in between this gal's leggies to kiss her, and everybody was like, what the fuck is going on over there? Do you know what I mean? So then in the morning, Joanna comes in and says that Casey looks like Lord Farquaad from Shrek. I was like, oh my god, yes, I see it. I do see it. You know, there's going to be a clip in this video somewhere, so you will all see what I see too. And Casey was like, who's Lord Farquaad? And I was like, you've never watched Shrek, my guy? Like, seriously never watched? But okay. So it seems as though Casey may like Sophie, and Georgia H and Molly are talking, and basically Georgia H is explaining a little bit more in regards to what happened with Casey. She said that they used to talk, and then at the end of the summer, nothing came of it. And I'm just like, I don't understand these people. I really don't. Because I'm like, okay, you tried to get into something. It clearly didn't work. You felt mugged off by this guy. Yeah. He didn't text you back. He could basically ghosted your ass. But yet you still want to get into something with him on Love Island. Well, how does that make sense? How does that really make sense? Somebody let me know how it makes sense. So as the day goes on, you see everybody having their little bits and chats. Now, my thing is Tom and Casey having their discussion about Molly. And the fact that I think Casey is interested in Molly. And it's both the fact that they turn around and say, oh yeah, she's fit. Is that your only reason in wanting to talk to Molly? Because if so, that's hella weird. To me, that's hella weird. I mean, Tom doesn't talk about her personality, doesn't eggs her up in any other way. Oh yeah, she's fit. You should get to know her, yeah. Go talk to her. And I'm just like, you're not a fucking pimp at the end of the day, my mate. My God, at least show a bit of integrity and say, gentlemanly wise, that, you know, Molly is X, Y, and Z, not just, oh yeah, she's fit. I'm just like, yeah, and these boys are supposed to be emotionally mature, like seriously emotionally inept, because their discussions, I swear to God, remain to be freaking sane in regards to the opposite sex and in terms of how they speak to them. I find it hella weird. I found that hella weird. So you see Arabella and Toby are getting on really well. And I have to say that Toby is completely different with Arabella to how it was with Georgia S, because Georgia S was not for him. So all things happened for a reason, and Toby was good to get rid of the toxic waste that is Georgia S at the end of the day. So Casey pulls Kaz for a chat. It's a superfluous chat. I don't like Casey. I really don't. I think he is like one of your lads that doesn't really necessarily take things seriously, and in describing girls as he did with Tom, it's weird. It's very nondescript, and all they're thinking about is the physical features of that person, and that's about it. So you got Joanna and Anton, they have a chat, and basically they chat about the days in regards to Anton meeting her in Casa Amor, and basically she's being truthful with Anton, not realising whether if it's going to be like a friendship thing with Anton or if it's going to be anything romantic. She doesn't know, and I'm just like, Anton is so unlucky, like seriously so unlucky when it comes to the girls that he likes. But then Anton took from that conversation when he was talking about it afterwards, that Joanna was saying to him that she friend zones herself all the time, and that's how he took it. And I'm like, Anton, no, that's not what she was saying, my love. But okay, you go off. So then you see Sophie, as it's coming to the end of the episode, pull Chris for a chat. So basically she's going to have that chat with Chris in regards to saying that she wants to get to know Josh a lot more. So she doesn't want to pull Chris for chat. She doesn't want to kiss Chris or anything like that. All I'm going to say is Sophie's going to be hella disappointed because Josh is champing at the bit to get to know Joanna. So as Sod's Law, as it does the universe speaking in languages, Josh ends up having this chat with Joanna, and you can see Sophie sitting there, and I don't know if it's the way they edited the video, but my girl was giving strong side eye in regards to when they were chatting, when it kept bouncing back to them chatting. So basically Joanna has already made it clear to Josh that yes, she's one of the lads that she would like to get to know. And I'm just like, Sophie, you're in for a lot of hurt at the end of the day. But that's the end of the episode, and this is where I am going to leave it. My renegades, as I always say, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that notification button so when you know I'm on to do videos, because I appreciate every single one of you that subscribe to my channel. I really, 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 really do. I do all of this for you lot, you know. I do all of this for you lot. Yes, I'm interested in it too, but I do all of this for you lot. So interact with me. Interact with me. I don't bite unless you ask me to. Anyway, peace out. I'll be back.